What I want to show you now is we'll talk a little bit about some searching techniques. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few techniques on how to do some and some of the information you can get from it. Okay, why do it? One is novelty assessment. Remember, the Patent Office says it has to be novel, meaning to say no one else has done this. If someone else has done it, we can't be the inventor. That's how the Patent Office sees it. Okay, another one is learning. When we search on different patents, we'll see how other people approached this problem that we're trying to solve. So that can be valuable for us. Maybe we change our invention a little bit based on what we've learned. Avoiding unnecessary expense. Okay, because applying for a patent can be pretty expensive. It can cost, anywhere from, let's say, $3,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on what it is and how long it goes. Depending, it all depends if you hire somebody. So that says, searches are usually considerably cheaper than that. So sometimes, if you do a search, you may be disappointed to see that your idea is out there. But if you know it's out there, and then decide not to pursue the patent, you've probably saved yourself that much money. One such example that I encountered a while back was somebody who worked in the TV repair industry, and they invented some sort of device for TV repair. And I said, would you like to do a search on this? They said, listen, kid, I've been in this industry 30 years. I've never seen nothing like it. I know it's not out there. I said, well, it's up to you. Search isn't that expensive. You want to give it a shot. He said, okay. So did a search and found what I call a direct hit. Basically, this thing was as close to as if it picked the guy's brain as it could be from about 6 years prior to when this was. And it was just a patent. So he may have been correct in that you couldn't buy this thing and it wasn't sold. So he might have been correct about that. But that didn't mean that nobody had the idea. Apparently someone had the idea and they patented it, even if they never commercialized it. So because it was patented by someone else, it would have precluded him from getting a patent. So while he was disappointed to hear that, he also saved himself a lot of money and aggravation pursuing a patent that he would likely not get. So that's another reason to do a search. And when we do it,
contacted the guy you found for some kind of deal?
He could have. I don't know if he decided to do that or not, but that is...
half a pie is better than none.
Well, that is a possibility. So that's something to keep in mind, is that if you were to find out that somebody had a patent on the idea, there's a couple options. One is to check to see if that patent's expired or not, because if that patent's expired, then in most cases that is in the public domain and anyone can use it. Another situation is that that person may want to sell or license that patent to you. Yes? Now, when we do a search, again, remember that word prior art. That just means stuff that existed before. What do we search for? Typically, we search patents and patent applications using online databases that I'm going to show you. But magazine articles and existing products can also be prior art. Now, is there anybody here who hasn't used the internet to search on Google or something? So we've all done searching using keywords, right? We want to find something in Google, we type something, and then we find it, right? Have we ever typed something in Google or Yahoo, and you got 80 billion hits, way too many, way more than you were looking for? So that can happen with patents too. So what I'm going to talk about here is how to get started with the search and also how to narrow it down when you get 80,000 results, because that's just too many to realistically process. Okay, so getting started. Writing a summary of the invention is good. I had asked earlier if people had actually written a summary or a write-up of their invention. And one of the good reasons to do that is because you can help generate keywords. Okay? If we can put basically what our invention is on paper, some keywords are going to jump out at us that could be useful for searching. And I recommend people use a thesaurus, which you can either buy at the local bookstore or Microsoft Word. If you right-click, you can get a thesaurus to see alternate words. Why? Because when you're searching with keywords, sometimes people use different words to describe the same thing. I might call it a scissors. Somebody else might have called it a clippers in their patent, or a snips, or whatever. So we want to find all those words like clippers and snips, that might be pertaining to our invention, different ways to describe it. We want to determine the relevant time frame. 1976 is important if you're using the Patent Office website, because that's how far back their text searching goes. Okay? So there's other techniques if we need to go beyond or before 1976. So if we're talking about something like nanotechnology, maybe I don't care about, going beyond 1976. But I can personally tell you that they had scissors before 1976. So if I have a scissors invention, I know I got to go before 1976. If I want to go before 1976 using the Patent Office website, there is a patent classification system, which is kind of like a Dewey Decimal System for patents. Basically, just like in the Dewey Decimal System, there's numbers, like call numbers, to find out where certain books are. History books are in 732.6 or whatever. There are classes and subclasses for invention, for patents. So if we know what classes or subclasses are in, we can search that way as well. Here's an example for a punching bag. We're going to talk about a punching bag later on, by the way. But punching bag that we're going to talk about is in class 482, exercise devices, and it's in a subclass of 83, striking, because you punch a punching bag. And patents can have more than one class and subclass. They can have multiple. But the cool thing is that I might call it a punching bag. Someone else might call it a training bag, training apparatus, heavy bag. So if I just search for the word punching, I might miss it. But if I search for a class 482, subclass 83, I'm going to see everything, doesn't matter what they've called it. So when I do a search, I like to search both ways. I like to use keywords in case somebody classified it wrong, and then I like to use the class subclass in case somebody used an unconventional title that I wouldn't have thought of. Anger management device. Who knows what they would call a punching bag, right? But